Well, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on when you're watching this, and welcome to another edition of Crossroads Community News, and happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. We want to thank you so much. You'll notice this flag behind us was actually made by one of our veterans here at Crossroads and also a member of the Elder Board, Jamie Boswell, so a special shout out to him. But our founding and lead pastor is a veteran himself. So Mick, on behalf of all of Crossroads, thank you so much for your service.
Well,
and we appreciate it. So.
I have been blessed to be able to serve, and I will say this, at this time of the year, I always remember shipmates and friends of mine, in particular one that some of you have heard me talk about before, a man named Jim Radney, who I roomed with for a whole Middle East deployment, and when we returned, unfortunately, while they were testing some equipment in the helicopter that he was flying, they had a mechanical failure. Others were injured, and unfortunately, he lost his life. And God brought good out of it in the sense that his son is now a pastor in North Carolina and really doing well. And that son was born literally like 2 weeks before his father passed away.
Wow.
Tragic situation. But you see, God sometimes uses tragedy and trials and even pain and death in order to bring about a greater good. And that's what Cooper is going to be talking about this weekend. This series in Isaiah has been, again, just reminding and refreshing me, and I hope all of you, about how sovereign God is and how he knows exactly what his plan is and where he's going with human destiny from beginning to end. And in the middle of that, there is this amazing event that was predicted 740 or so years before Jesus was born that Cooper's going to be talking about. It's probably one of the most notable passages in all of the Old Testament, Isaiah chapter 53. And I think of Isaiah 53:6 that I memorized a long time ago. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way. And the Lord has placed on him the iniquity of us all. And so that scripture itself predicted so vividly 700 years before Jesus was put to death is what Cooper's going to be just bringing to life for us this weekend. We're also going to be putting as an attachment to that, not an attachment, but as a commemoration of that, as we'll be doing the Lord's Supper again and doing it the way we have done it before. You won't have to fiddle with one of those little things that's really hard to pull apart. And so, Cooper, tell me, what are you thinking about this message?
Yeah, so I'll just spoil it for those of you who are going ahead and listening right now. It's going to be called The Suffering Servant, and so we're going to be talking a lot about suffering and just how Isaiah foretold of this prophecy, as Mick mentioned, around 700 years before Jesus was even born. And we're going to look at all of the ways in which Jesus fulfills these different prophecies and how he does it, not just at the cross, not even just in being born, but throughout his entire ministry. And so we're going to take a deep dive and look at how that happens. But a lot of it is going to focus on the cross. And so if you have friends, this would be a good one to invite them to, because Absolutely. It's going to be very gospel heavy. And we are going to talk about how Jesus saves us all from Satan, sin, and death, and how he conquered ultimately all of those things on Easter. Now, so I know it's Christmas, but Christmas points to Easter, and so that's what we're going to be talking about. It should be good. Hopefully you can have a lot of people there, and hopefully God will save some lives. So it's exciting. Mick, once again, thank you so much.
Start inviting folks now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Invite them now. That'll be Sunday. 9:10:45, but you knew that already. Hey, this has been another great edition of Crossroads Community News. As always, we love having you on CCN, and we will see you later.